Okay, so here is my portrait, which has been colored in, and the background that I drew in with pencil and then traced with Sharpie. I have three elements in my background that help describe who I am and it's just some little parts of about me. So one is a dragon because I like fantasy and also because that's the school mascot. Another is a rainbow because I'm an art teacher and have a very colorful life. And the other is a path through a forest because I really enjoy taking nature walks in a forest. So what we're going to do is we're going to use watercolors to paint in these objects, paint in the background. And we can use watercolors to both show our outlines and create value. You create value with your watercolors by adding more or less water to the paint. So when you add a lot of water to it, then it's going to be very light and you're going to be able to see those lines. And if you add another layer of paint, then you can start to build up some value. And the other thing with watercolors is you can mix the watercolors. You will need a mixing tray. So if you do decide to mix them, just get a tray for that. Don't mix inside of the actual colors. So here I'm just mixing like some brown and green and some yellow and green to create different shades and tints of green. And then see, I'm just putting another layer of green there to add some little extra leaves. The nice thing about watercolors also is when you use watercolors on dry paper, it will pretty much stay where you put it. When you do put down that watercolors, you want to make sure though that you are leaving enough space that it doesn't blend into the other color. Also, black can be really, really black with these kinds of colors. So if it's too dark, then you can just dry your brush off and then just mop up or sponge out the paint with your brush. You can see here how I'm just very carefully painting inside my lines, making sure that my lines still show up. We do want to see those nice outlines from the Sharpie. And to get a different color brown, a different tint of brown, I just added more water, so it's a very watery brown, and now it looks like a light brown, even though I didn't do any mixing at all. Now that my green's dried a little bit, I add another layer of green at the bottom to show the shadow of my dragon. And now I want to do clouds for my sky. So for my sky, I'm going to use the wet on wet technique. Even if my water's dirty like this is, I can still put it down and it doesn't show up as dirty. I'm just going to put some water in some areas and then just dab on the blue, and that's going to make it look like there are clouds in the sky. Just a little watercolor painting technique there for you. And see how that's starting to look like clouds now? Because I'm using the white paper as white. You don't really need white when you use watercolors because you just use the paper as white. And then you just either don't have any color there or you lighten it by adding more water. And now I'm just doing a rainbow. Oh, whoops. It needs to be orange. That's okay because I can paint orange over the yellow. And there it is. I could have also taken a paper towel and blotted the yellow to get it off while it was still wet. That's the other nice thing about watercolors is it's a little bit more forgiving than other paints. You can kind of erase a little bit if you catch it fast enough. And again, just, painting in nicely and neatly and completely is what I'm really looking for your painting in the background. We're not scribbling, we're using nice long paint strokes there, nice long brush strokes, and carefully going around the outline of the objects. Oh, now here I put my paint on way too thick for the purple. So I'm just going to just get some water on my brush and pull that paint out with the water. So see how it looked like black? That purple ended up looking black. So I'm just going to water it down right there on the paper like that. There, now it looks purple and not just black. And you see how I carefully went around the outline of my hair there? And add one more cloud up in the corner, and I'm all done. When you are finished, make sure that you take a paper towel and clean up the paint tray. Leave out the paint palette to dry, and that's all there is.